Three, two, one, one, two, three. Welcome back for spending time with me. Happy New Year! Yay! We're so excited. What's that face for? We're so excited. January 1st, 2021. Um, we got a little bit to talk about, but before we do, I wanted to show you what it is outside and try this again without messing it up. Here it is. The back of my truck. It is snowing. Just a light snow, just enough to make it beautiful and peaceful and so gorgeous. I love it so much. We got the music playing in the background. It's going to get shut off because we're going to use the JBL party box for our Bible reading. Yay! So I wanted to get into really quick before because I did not realize. So I used to have a show, I think like a year before I started this one, on Spotify and Anchor's where I started was an Anchor where I started. Yeah, 2020 it says. And then the other one was January 2021. Um so 2020 and 2021 I like I said, when I first started this YouTube, I was giving you guys a bunch of music. Well, when I first started Anchor and Spotify, I did music as well. But since my Anchor and Spotify have been, I don't know, they disappeared somewhere, I haven't been able to, I didn't think to add my list of songs. I have like 20 pages of songs. So I have this playlist on YouTube really quick. See if I can find it.
Not on YouTube Music, you must click.
No, I didn't see. Nowhere's near YouTube Music. So on my account, I have this songs that I had on my Spotify Anchor podcast playlist. You can't see it. But we're up to 51 videos. Yep, up to 51 videos, and I still have 20 some odd pages. Oh, I totally forgot about those too. 20 some odd pages to add to the music. So, it's going to be a lot. I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know if I want to do it just all one because I did see somebody had a playlist with over 100 and something videos, but 20 something pages. Like, look at this. This is all the pages of music that I had because I had my list and I didn't realize since I've been doing this YouTube thing that I haven't been keeping track. And I started this in September of September 7th, 2021 as far as my playlist goes. So yeah, like I said, Spotify and Anchor for a whole year. A little over a year actually it looks like. And I didn't add the music, so I'm sorry about that. So yeah, I'm gonna be adding music and not only music. Look at, I hope I don't get copywritten. I don't have no rights to these. These are all on YouTube. They're all public. This is nothing to do with what I have rights to as far as this music I'm playing either. No rights to it. Just FYI, I don't have rights. It's just public platform. As far as um it's Pandora. I'm playing Pandora. I have no rights. It's a public, my, what do you call it? Playlists. It's a shuffle. That's all it is. And then these are actually on YouTube. So I have a bunch of songs, and then I also have a bunch of motivational videos. They're 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. um 2 minutes 58 seconds, 4 minutes. I think like the longest is 9. And that one is, what is your why? Remember we had talked about even with Mary Kay, what is your why do you do what you do, right? So you have to remember your why, get a why, um and remember it. Like, remember, look, I sent this to my son. It's a 4-minute video. It says, I dare you to be great. And then discipline. It's funny because me and one of my coworkers, who's becoming a really good friend, and like he said, we're just grateful to be friends. We're grateful that God put us together in each other's lives, because I need somebody to. He doesn't think I'm spiritual enough, or I'm not there yet, which in a way I guess I'm not, because I don't have the people teaching me, everything. Like I've said from the beginning, I am self-taught, literally, even as far as the Bible, as far as these motivations. I'm all self-taught. I'm trying to teach my children. He is I actually got 10 followers. Yay, because he is my 10th follower. He wants to um oh, that's not what I wanted to do. He wants to learn too, and he's my reminder. He's my accountability partner, because when I swear or when I do stuff that God doesn't like that, right? God doesn't like that. But I have to remind him too, God doesn't like some of the things he does, such as lying and attitudes and being snippy.
Not being snippy
Mm,
because you won't my friend
chores and listening, and we have a routine. We're trying to establish a routine again, which we've had, but just don't want to do it. My oldest either, but I have this speech too about, it's a 4 minute, because I always thought I'm learning too, as far as isolation and being a lone wolf. But from what I'm learning is, it might be a sin, but at the same time, it's a greatness as far as being able to be alone. A lot of people don't have that power. A lot of people need, especially in today's age, a lot of people need other people. A lot of people need that. And in a way, I kind of do too. That's what I told him. Like, I need friends. Like, I've been asking God for friends, and here he is. But and he said he can give me, some of his sisters, his what I think the greatest thing that he told me, now we can do this here. As long as I don't hit the button, I hit the button, and he was holding my keyboard because this is our take two. But anyways, I asked him what church he goes to, and he doesn't go to a church. He's more part of a community, part of a brotherhood and a sisterhood, a family, that, where two or more are gathered. And that's amazing, because I love church, and I've told you guys that I love church, and I've shared especially my IPR church. Oh my goodness. I love it. But what I've always wanted is the raw truth, right? We always wanted the raw truth. That's what I'm brutally honest with my kids. Like, share my experience and how I learn what I learn. Um, and my oldest, he doesn't quite understand. And, oh, you're just Jesus. You're just Jesus. Well, I'm Jesus because Jesus is me. Jesus came to me when I needed him the most. Like, let me tell you, when I lost my kids, we spoke about that. I hated God. I hated him. I did things that I was like, well, God's going to hate it. So it is what it is. And that's another reason how you know that God is real, because even atheists, right? That's what I told you guys about that movie. God's Not Real. Any, um, that kid that questions the teachers. How can you hate something that isn't real? Because he asked the teacher, why do you hate God so much? And he said, because he took everything from me. He took his son, he took his wife, he took his family. And the kid said, well, how can you hate something that doesn't exist? Right? So even atheists have a reason for hating. And I've asked my oldest too, what is the purpose of life if um if God isn't real, right? What are we here for? What is the purpose? And there's a lot of people that, what is the purpose? I want to just know your understanding, because For me, and we've talked about it, like I said, we got in a deep conversation, one of the deepest conversation I think I've had in a long, long time. I actually clocked out of work late because I was just so intrigued and was not even caring about the time. I just wanted to be in his understanding. And this is what I told you guys before. This is why I wish I had more followers as far as, a community, an understanding of what your beliefs are. Because one thing that like I said, I've grown to understand, our life experiences have given us different perspectives. And even if we have similar stories, we still have different perspectives because what came to before that story um, has altered our way of thinking. So we all think different. We all feel different. Everything is different. So that's where I think the religion and relationship and the confusion is that people think that they're right. Excuse me, they're right and you're wrong. But I think we're all right because it's all from our own perspectives. That's why it's important to communicate. That's why it's important to um I love this thing about if somebody gives you a different way of thinking, they're very, very important because you have to change the way that you think a lot. You have to learn, unlearn, relearn. You know what I mean? You just have to continue to learn. Look at my kitty. You have to continue to learn on a daily basis. The more you read, the more you grow. What is it that I say? The more you read, the more you learn, the more you learn, the more you grow, right? Trying to get him into, I seen this guy that said his currency for his children is reading. The more pages you read, the more money that you earn. Um, and we're working on it. He wants to still read baby books. He's almost 10 years old and we're working. Okay, we're working. But I hope you guys do enjoy the playlist that we have going on. Like I said, Lone Wolf, it takes a lot for somebody to be alone, to learn and grow. God sometimes has you to be alone because that's just what is needed for you to grow as an individual. It's what you're needing to learn in the time of your life. And then the painful truth. Look, it's only a 3-minute video. I hope I don't get in trouble. I have no copyright. It is on YouTube. And the most of these two are all from Fearless Motivation or Team Fearless. Like I said, the list that I have, this whole motivation, this whole page, and you can't really see it, but this whole page is all motivational speeches. And most of them are from it's upside. No, it's not. It's right side. But most of them are all from uh Fearless Motivational speeches. There's one that I'm a little sad that I couldn't find. It's called Mindset. And it was an epic motivational speech, but I could not find that one, and I'm a little sad. Maybe when I get on the computer, I'll try to find it because I've been able to find more on the computer than I was on the phone. Um, but I just want to I want to listen to this one really quick because it is the painful truth about, hey,
What?
why do I keep doing that? I'm using my mouth to try to touch my phone. I want to play the thing on my phone and I'm like putting the mouse. Oh my gosh. All right, so here we are. It's a
Do you think it's
get through.
which
I know, right? That's what I was right. Exactly. It's a split screen, but it's not. So it's shoot, where to go? 3 minutes and 49 seconds, and it is from, like I said, Fearless Motivation.
Dreams never come true. And it isn't because people aren't working hard. It's not because they're not worthy or they're not good. It's the simple reality that the things that you're dreaming about is held to accomplish. So if you want to accomplish them, let me tell you one thing right now. You cannot ever be passive. And most people, that's the posture that they're in all the time. People are going to tell you terrible
Passive
advice, like
posture.
be patient. But the
Be
reality
patient,
is you
right?
can't
Can't
be
be
patient,
patient.
not if you want to achieve at the highest level. And if patience is your thing, if you want to chill, if you want to relax, that is absolutely fine. There's no moral obligation to aim high. There's no moral obligation to want to be one of the greatest in the world. But let me tell you right now, if you want to be
Greatest
one
of
of
all
the
time, right? That's
greatest
what's going around
of
now.
all time, the reality is you're fighting an uphill battle. The reality is you're going to have to go so hard to make that a reality that other people simply cannot imagine working that hard for anything in their
Right.
life. That's the simple truth. And once you realize that the people that achieve at the highest level, they have one thing in common. They will bury it with work. They put so much energy into what they're trying to accomplish that other people simply fall by the wayside.
Right.
People simply can't imagine trying to keep up with that. And so what they say is that person's extraordinary. What they say is that person is naturally talented. What they tell themselves is that person is something that they don't have, because what they don't want to do
Is work
is
for
face
it.
the hard truth that the dreams that they have aren't coming true simply because they're not making the right decisions. They're not pushing themselves to learn. Once you embrace that you're hopelessly average, that's where we all start. That's the beauty of it.
Hopelessly
The greatest
average.
piece
We
of
all
news
start
that I can give you
hopelessly
is that you are
average.
hopelessly average. That was where you started. But it doesn't have to be where you stay. You can become
Right.
anything you want to be, but you've got to put in that inhuman amount of work to improve. But if you focus on that, if you focus on improving, then your dreams really can become a reality. But it has to be this aggressive posture. It has to be waking up every
Day.
day and asking yourself one simple question: how do I get better today than I was yesterday? If you're myopically focused on that, if that is the driving thing in your life, that you don't worry about whether or not
Better
you're
day
good or
by
great or
day.
talented, you just worry about, am I getting better today than I was yesterday? Am I putting in that kind of energy? Am I working hard enough to get better? Am I working hard enough to outperform other people? Am I willing to hold myself to this incredibly high standard? If you're willing to do that and be real with yourself about whether or not you're making progress, then your dreams really can come true. And that's what I want for people. I want people to know that. I want people to believe it to the core of their being. You can do anything you set your mind
Anything.
to. And if
You
you
work it.
need encouragement, let this be that encouragement. You can
Right.
do it.
You
I don't care
can.
how average you are in the beginning. Who do you want to become? And what price are you willing to pay to get there? And when the answer to that question is, I want to be the best, and I'm willing to pay an extraordinary price to get there, then and only then you will get there.
Then and only then will you pay. Everything has a price. Are you willing to pay the price? Even failures have a price. Even failures have a price. The price of failure is to not achieve your dream. There's just one more because it's only a 2-minute 18-second video. Again, fearless topics. This painful truth one was 5 years ago. And this other one is called Battles. This is and the funny thing, oh, I'm gonna cry. I don't want to cry. Um, like I said, I posted these in 2021, and I honestly forgot about them. But here we are now. Today is 2025. So these videos were posted in 2020. My husband passed 2023. And I forgot about these motivational, um, like I told my friend, I'm just trying to find my footing again. And I forgot about these videos. I forgot about who I was. I know who I was before him, and I know who I was during him. When we were together, I shared a lot of videos, like I said, on this YouTube. I didn't share none of the ones that I wanted to. Thank you. Um, I shared a lot about our relationship and how I wasn't enough. But it's not, like my counselor said, it's not that I wasn't enough. He just couldn't love me the way that I needed to be loved because of who he was. And he changed me. So now I have to find me again. And I'm loving the process. Like, it's not an easy one, let me tell you. It has not been an easy one. But like I said, this past year, November made a year, has been the most bittersweet year. Even when, like I said, even when my mom passed, that was like the most bittersweet time of my life. And now this is a bittersweet time of my life because I miss him and I don't understand why it wasn't enough. But I wasn't enough because he didn't want me to be. He couldn't love me the way that I needed him to love me. And that's just life. That's just our truth. And even when I wanted to walk away, God told me not to because here I am. Look at where I am. He chose me to be here. Unfortunately, Danny lived his cycle and he made the choices that he made to make his life the way that it was. That's on him. That's not on me. Even though I put it on me because I wanted to save him. I wanted to cure him of all his problems, I guess. I don't know. I don't know, but we can't save or cure or heal somebody that doesn't want to, right? He doesn't want to. So no matter what we said or did or how great we were, it was never going to be enough. But that's him. This is me, right? So I had to listen to these all over again and realize who I am and what my dreams are and what I need to sacrifice and do to make these dreams come true. That's why I greatly appreciate this friend because he's encouraging me about the hot dog stand, even about the house, and like encouraging me in ways that I forgot about. It's how to encourage myself, how to get through another day without feeling the pain that I've been feeling. Like I said, I feel like I'm on ice and just slipping into the icy cold water. But I'm learning how to pull myself out. I'm learning how to lean on God and let God warm the area, warm the water. I don't know the analogy behind it, but learning how to find me again, learning how, to share my story with you guys. God, like I said, the whole reason, I don't know if I posted it on here before, but the whole reason I started this podcast was to tell you my story because I've been trying to write a book and it's painful. It's very painful. And like we were talking, it's hard to like keep going in the past. But I was looking at the scars on my hand. I have scars here, and I have scars here from when I was little. And I had more, a lot more than are here. Scars heal, right? So why open up a wound that is already healed, right? So I know I need to. This is why I wanted to show you about the battles real quick too, because we do fight battles and there's going to be battles. There's going to be a lot to overcome and a lot to push through, even in the hardest times of your life. But if you know what I mean? You fall. It's not about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you get back up. How many times do you try and try and try and never give up? Dreams do not come true because people fall short. And we were talking about that cartoon, right? He even said it was a real thing about this man had a farm and he was into gold and he dug and he struck gold and he took out as much as he could. So then he went to another place to try to strike gold again. He said I think it was like 3 inches short of striking gold again, and then he gave up and sold the land, and the farmer hired a professional and he found the gold that the other man who sold them the land was looking for. And he was only about 3 inches. Can you imagine? Just 3 inches short of striking gold again. Sometimes that's what we do is we fall short of our dreams because we give up right when it's about to pursue, right when it's about to flourish, right? It's it's crazy, and that's why I think it's never to give up. It's going to be hard and there's going to be sacrifices, but if you know it, the reward is going to be greater than the sacrifice. The harder the sacrifice, the greater the reward. That's just personal perspective. Like, let me tell you. Let me tell you. I've said it before. If you're not willing to work for it, if it's if it comes too easy, it's not worth working for. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not given to you. If it's worth working for, then it's worth having. If it comes easy, it's not worth having. So let's just read listen to this one more and then we'll get into our daily Bible reading. I think we're in Leviticus 4 or 5, chapter 5. I'll have to see in a minute. All right, so 2 minutes and 18 seconds battles. Fearless motivation on YouTube. I have no
Not
rights.
spending an obscene amount of money on fake items.
It's a commercial. Skip it. Here it is. And this was 8 years ago.
Today, the battle of your life may present itself. Are you prepared for the battles ahead? Are you prepared to win? You fight to win. You fight for your teammates. You fight for your friends. You fight for your family. You fight for the badge. You fight for the honor. You fight for your country. You fight for your brothers. You reach. You claw. You hold on. Today is a battle. Tomorrow is a victory lap. Every day is a battle worth winning. Every moment is a battle worth winning. As long as you're still in the game, you fight to win. The game out there is the game of life. Whatever your competition, you fight to win. Whatever your battle, you fight to win. It's all you got. 100%. Leave no stone unturned. Leave nothing on the table. Not an ounce of effort left in your body. If you have to die striving for it, you will die a legend. You will die with honor. If you die with no regrets, you will die in peace. Keep going. Never stop. Keep fighting. Never stop. All you have, all you got.
That's it. That's it. All you got is to fight through your battles. Keep going, no matter how hard it is. Keep fighting, keep going. The rest is all music. We're getting back into the music. I did all the motivational speeches. I shared them all. Become someone no one thought you could be, even you. Become someone that no one thought you can be, including yourself. When you feel like quitting, within you, motivation. And then I even have one that is a gym motivation because everything is a gym. Everything, like I said, is something that you need to work for. How the whole conversation started with my friend at work was if he wanted to do a challenge with me. I got sent in my group church group lady thing a challenge of 40 and 40. So 40 miles, 40 days, and reading 40 verses in the 40 days. Um, so even walking, right? Walking is a gym exercise. Um, And I have to remember, as far as the discipline, and I told him, and I just seen her going to my neighbor's mother-in-law, or my neighbor. She's I talked to my friend who was at work, um, Ashley. Her mother-in-law is our neighbor. They own the three houses across the street. But she gets up. I don't know, she must have had some sort of health issue or something. But she started walking, I think it was what, last summer? Winter, summer, I don't know. She started walking a few months ago. It's been almost a year now, probably, that she used to just sit on the porch all the time. And now, literally, rain, snow, it's snowing outside, and she's bundled up in a hat and a scarf and walks by herself. I don't like to walk outside because I don't like to walk by myself. So that's why I got a treadmill, and I haven't used it in a while. I do have all my exercise machines, but this is what I noticed yesterday too. I don't know if you can see. Move this black thing real quick. Me and my brother were doing a little bit of housework that I haven't done in a long time. As you see, this pieces behind me. I'm working on those. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. That one, anyways. That's from that. So you see this right here. Where is it? Right here. Right here. We were doing it on that side of the ceiling. Um, because I want to keep this open. So my church people are telling me that I can't keep it open because whatever reason. And that's one thing I love having help. But at the same time, I don't like people telling me what I can and cannot do. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't want to be told what I can and cannot do, because this is my dream. God gave me this dream. Me and my husband wanted to keep this open and keep it like an industrial look. So his bedroom is right above this room. So we're putting putty right now, and it's a process, right? So trust the process with everything. This is what I was learning. Um, Trust the process. But my point of the story was how out of shape I am. I was talking about, like I said, this discipline and her walking. And I went, when he was alive, I used to do housework. He actually got mad at me because I would like miss the dishes or something. Um, and be doing housework, and he's like, all I want you to do is clean the house, you don't have to do anything else. But I wanted to help get it done. I wanted to do what I could do, and it is what it is. But I noticed yesterday, climbing up the ladder, how out of shape I was and how long it's been. I think it's been, right, because when he passed, I went full force for like 3 months. Like, I was swapping doors around. I was laying out all kinds of stuff. I was tearing down stuff. Like, I went full force to change and try to get through the initial shock of what I'm going through. And then I literally hit a brick wall where I couldn't move anymore. I couldn't like function. I couldn't get out of bed. Um, I couldn't do much of anything. And I'm pretty much been stuck there, you know, where I had the wall and I've just been sitting on the floor, metaphorically, just sitting on the floor, crying and sobbing and like trying to get up, but like I said, feeling like I'm stuck, like I'm glued to the floor. Um, there's days where I can get up and I can move, but then there's other days that I feel like I just fall on my face. Um, And that's why I said I really appreciate this friend who has given me the courage to start again. And I found my like I said, what's the word, podcast and thing, my book that I've been keeping track of for years. And I didn't for some reason it got lost in my book shuffle, and I haven't, I've been just doing this YouTube thing and talking and talking and talking, and not like keeping track of anything, not keeping track of what I'm saying, not keeping track of the music, not keeping track of anything. And to me, that's like wasting our time. Um, and like I said, sharing we watched my first video of how he was hurting me and how I wanted better. And if you follow along from the first video until now, you can only create the better for you. Um, you can only do better for you. And it is what it is. So we've listened to those. Now let's get into our Bible. I hope that I've encouraged somebody today. And yes, Noah, it is a long video, but it's well worth it, I believe. Where, like I said, I'm not just rambling, although I do kind of feel like I'm a little rambling, but, and you got somewhere to be?
No.
Um, you know, I'm just telling you what I've been through, and as far as, like I said, these encouragements, and to remember to encourage yourself. If you need somebody to encourage you, message me, anything. Um, but remember to encourage yourself. Remember that God has you where you are for a purpose. What is it that you need to learn? Dude,
What?
what is it you need to learn? Why are you where you are? And what is it that you need to learn to grow to move on to the next step? You know what I mean? That's where I'm at. That's what I'm learning. I need to learn myself. I need to learn what my motives are, what my whys are. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I um so 3, 4, we're on chapter 5. Why am I um choosing the route that I'm choosing, and I'm not choosing to give up. I am choosing, and like he said, don't be surprised when um the hot dog stand flourishes and becomes a goal. I have a business plan. I've never had a business plan in my life, and I have it. It's in the car, unfortunately, right now, but I have a business plan drawn up thanks to him. I have a menu. I have a complete plan of how I want this to be ran. I have a couple little bumps in the road, but like he said, it should be something simple to fix as far as the gas line on the hot dog stand and, learning it.
Like,
Learning it and finding a what do we call it? A home or an establishment where I can store my stuff and clean my cart. Um at the end of the night. Literally, that's all I need. I've had everything else and I need more money. Right now, like I said, I helped the friend out, which is another lesson. Do not ever help anybody out and put something in your name if you do not have the finances to do it. Because you never know what's going to happen. Free parking tickets and tolls and etc., etc., all falls into your unpaid insurance, all falls into your lap. So if you do not have the finances to do it, don't do it. And that was my mistake. I didn't have the finances. I told this person that I didn't have the finances and I did it anyways. And now I am in a hole that only God's going to be able to get me out of because I'm just pray, pray, and pray. So today's verse is Isaiah 43:18 and 19. But forget all that. Listen, this all goes with what I am saying today. Forget all that. It is nothing compared to what I am going to do, for I'm about to do something new. See, I've already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in the dry wasteland. This is God speaking to us. When we walk through the wilderness, when we're in the storms, when we're in the darkness of life, He will make a way. He will make a pathway, and he will give you water when it's dry, right? Oh, beautiful. We're on, oh, that's that. Leviticus, oops, chapter 5. And I just want to read the footnote real quick. I think we're going to do 5 and 6. And I'm pretty sure I read it the last time, but I just want to read it again because it's there. The role of the priests. These chapters cover in great details 2 key aspects of the work of Israel's priest: to offer the sacrifice that people brought to God so that their sin might be atoned for, and to present their offerings that honored God. At this stage in Israel's history, it is clear that the priests did not slaughter the animals to be sacrificed. The sinner did. The role of the priest was to serve as an intermediary, catching the blood in the bowl and presenting it in the altar as a way of atoning for sin. Examples of Leviticus chapter 1, verses 3 and 5. But priests had many other responsibilities, including teaching God's law, acting as judges, and serving as public health inspectors. I know I've read that before because I need a health inspector. So it looks like chapter 5 is very short with only 17, 18 verses, 16, 17, 18 verses, 19 verses. 19 verses, so we'll do 5 and 6. It looks like sin requiring a sin offering is chapter 5. What do you think so far?
It's wrong.
Leviticus chapter 5. Sins requiring a sin offering. If you are called to testify about something you have seen or that you know about, it is sinful to refuse to testify, and you will be punished for your sin. Or suppose you unknowingly touch something that is ceremonially unclean, such as the carcass of an unclean animal. When you realize what you have done, you must admit your defilement and your guilt. This is true whether it is a wild animal,
Or
a domestic animal, or an animal that scurries along the ground. Or suppose you unknowingly touch something that makes a person unclean. When you realize what you have done, you must admit your guilt. Or suppose you make a foolish vow of any kind, whether its purpose is for good or for bad. When you realize its foolishness, you must admit your guilt. When you become aware of your guilt in any of these ways, you must confess your sin. Then you must bring to the Lord as the penalty for your sin a female from the flock, either a sheep or a goat. This is a sin offering with which the priest will purify you from your sin, making you right with the Lord.
So this one has a little note. It says, then you must bring to the Lord as the penalty for your sin a female from the flock, either a sheep or a goat. This is a sin offering with the priest will purify you from your sin, making you right with the Lord, or will make atonement for you for your sin. Similarly in 5, 10, 13, 16, and 18.
But if you cannot afford to bring a sheep, you may bring to the Lord 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons as the penalty for your sin. One of the birds will be for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. You must bring them to the priest, who will present the first bird as the sin offering. He will wring its neck, but without severing its head from the body. Then he will sprinkle some of the blood of the sin offering against the sides of the altar, and the rest of the blood will be drained out at the base of the altar. This is an offering for sin. The priest will then prepare the second bird as a burnt offering, following all the procedures that have been prescribed. Through this process, the priest will purify you from your sin, making you right with the Lord, and you will be forgiven. If you cannot afford to bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, you may bring 2 quarts of choice flour for your sin offering. Since it is an offering for sin, you must not moisten it with olive oil or put any frankincense on it.
This one has a footnote and it says if you can't afford to bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, you may bring 2 quarts or an ephah, which is 2.2 liters of choice flour for your sin offering.
Take the flour to the priest, who will scoop out a handful as a representative portion. He will burn it on the altar on top of the special gifts presented to the Lord. It is an offering for sin. Through this process, the priest will purify those who are guilty of any of these sins, making them right with the Lord, and they will be forgiven. The rest of the flour will belong to the priest, just as with the grain offering. Procedures for the guilt offering. Then the Lord said to Moses, if one of you commits a sin by unintentionally defiling the Lord's sacred property, you must bring a guilt offering to the Lord. The offering.
All right, so this one is. All right, this one says each shekel was about 0.4 ounces or 11 grams in weight. We haven't got there yet, but when it gets to the shekel.
Must be your own ram with no defects, or you may buy one of equal value with silver, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. You
There
must
it
make
is.
restitution for the sacred property you have harmed by paying for the loss, plus an additional 20%. When you make
Lemonade.
payment to the priest, he will purify you with the ram's sacrifice as a guilt
That
offering,
sour.
making you right with the Lord, and you will be forgiven. Suppose you sin by violating one of the Lord's commands. Even if you are unaware of what you have done, you are guilty and will be punished for your sin. For a guilt offering, you must bring to the priest your own ram with no defects, or you may buy one of equal value. Through this process, the priest will purify you from your unintentional sin, making you right with the Lord, and you will be forgiven. This is a guilt offering, for you have been guilty of an offense against the Lord.
So one thing, as we're reading this, I completely am very grateful and thankful for. Look at the snowflakes keep hitting the window. They're like flying up. It's so gorgeous. I wish I can show you guys. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love the snow as long as I don't have to go out in it. And today I do not have to go out in it. So I am in love. I might have to go pick up my brother, like I said, to finish what we were doing. But other than that, it is gorgeous. And it's like I said, it's a light, fluffy snow. It's not really, we haven't really had any heavy, big snow this year. Shh. But it's just gorgeous. But, anyways, back to what I was trying to say. I am very grateful and thankful that we do not have to do these sacrifices, that God shed his blood, so we do not have to do these sacrifices. And like it said in the notes, that the sinner had to slaughter the animal and the priest had to make us holy. I think with the purpose of God dying is that we need a priest as far as a teacher, somebody to teach us the Bible. And like I said, where 2 or more are gathered. So I want a deep understanding of the word, but we don't have to have that go to the priest because you sinned. We go straight to God. And what is the word? Confess. Confess our sin, and just ask for forgiveness in our own, right? I'm very, very, very grateful that we do not have to do all this spreading the blood on the everything and catching it in a bowl, and OMG, oh, it's making me sick. But regardless, this is what they had to do before Jesus, right? This is what sinners had to do. And we have to remember, like I said, what animals are holy, what animals are not, what animals, and it's always a pure animal, right? It is always a animal without a defect. So I think that is very, very important because Jesus was also a sinless man. Jesus was a man that was pure at heart. He was sinless, right? He didn't have any defects like we did. He wasn't even born like we were out of our, we're a sexual being. It's what, what we are. That's how God created us, be fruitful and multiply, right? Um, that's just what we are. And Jesus didn't have that in him. He wasn't born that way. He was born of a virgin, right? His whole life, he was innocent. And to think 30, I think they said 32 years he lived. I'm over 32. And like, can you imagine the life he had to live even when his parents lost him when he was 12, right? And the whole having to go back to do the I'm pretty sure it was when they had to go back to do the census. That's not how that goes.
How do you do it? I'll be in a minute.
Yeah, when they had to go back to do the census, and he said, "Did you know not that it had to be about my father's business, right?" Um, he just knew from the beginning that who he was and what his purpose in life was. He didn't have to find himself. He didn't have to um I don't know what all that is. He didn't have to, go through what we had to go through as far as, like I said, finding himself, understanding who he was and where he needed to be. He knew what his purpose was from the beginning. And if you watch The Chosen, you will know, Jesus warned his people many times, and they didn't understand that he had to die in order for everything to be fulfilled. He had to die in order for us to live. The sting of death did not keep him, right? So, like I said, unfortunately, through this, it's a fortunate but unfortunate, bittersweet again, through this of losing my husband, is one of the first things that he showed was that there's life after death and that God is with us. And I've showed you guys this many times that if you know anything about me, my two most favorite things in this whole world is a starry night sky, clean, beautiful, starry night sky, all the stars, and a teddy bear. Teddy bears are like my absolute favorite, and that's what I was given for free to hold my husband's ashes, right? And like I said, the whole Britta thing and Bob Marley, there's just no way that could have happened. And again, the odds of being here in Jamestown the first day, right? We weren't even moving here. We didn't even move here yet. We were checking out an apartment in a church across the street, right? That's why I started that conversation of where um what church my friend at work goes to, not my neighbor friend, but the other friend, what church he went to, because right across the street or close to where he lives is the church that was giving away free hot dogs and bags of chips the day we came here to Jamestown, right? It's insane. What are the odds? And now I have a hot dog cart. So I know it's going to come to fruition. I know that it's going to flourish. I know that God has a plan, and I don't quite know because, there's things that we're never going to know. There's things that we're never going to know. But God shows us. Once I was blind, but now I see. And that's where we are. Noah brought Danny. When she was telling me about him, I thought she was saying nice guy, the nice guy bear. And it is the night sky bear. His eyes are all starry, his ears are all starry, his nose, his hands or hand, and his feet. They're all shimmery and glittery and
His his did you say his eyes?
I did say his eyes. He's a starry night bear because I wanted the specific color. This blue was his favorite color, is this dark blue, and this was the color that I wanted. And what are the odds that not only is it the dark blue, but it's a starry night because now he's my star, right? He couldn't love me in life, but God showed me that he loves me in his death and that he's with him because two favorite things, a teddy bear and the starry night sky. And I love it so much. I sleep with him every night, even though it's still hard, but it is what it is. Life is life, and the battles. Are we willing to put the sacrifice in? Are we willing to face the battles and trust that God has got a greater plan? That there's a purpose for your pain? The greater the pain, the greater the purpose. This is just what I'm learning. And what are the odds that I'm in my dream home, that I have the brick fireplace that I've always wanted, that I have more bedrooms than I have family right now? They're not done. It's not done. And I didn't want a house that was done, although it would be convenient. But convenience isn't always the best, right? Again, if you put in the work, the more the reward. And that's what we're working on today. We're going to get through our next chapter, and hopefully we're going to do some more puttying and getting through fixing these ceilings so that way I can get upstairs and start working up there again without making a giant mess down here. And like I said, this room is about, he asked yesterday how much, and it's about 75 to 80% complete in this room that I'm sitting in. So literally I don't have a lot left that needs to be done in here to complete it. And that makes me very, very, very excited. So again, if I could show you the before and after pictures, this is the after. It's not quite done yet, but just I'm amazed. I am just amazed and in awe because this isn't us. This is God. We can't do anything without him. Whether it's the skills, the life, whatever, we cannot do it without him. All right, so chapter 6 is a little bit longer with 30 verses. And it's sins requiring guilt offering, further instructions for the burnt offering, further instructions for the grain offering, procedures for the ordination offering, and further instructions for the sin offering. It looks like there's a lot of sin offerings. Wonder why that is. All right, so chapter 6 in Leviticus. And before we get in there, so it says verses 6 1 verses 6 chapter 1 through 7 are numbered 5:20 through 26 in the Hebrew text. So it's still, if we were reading the Hebrew like the Bible's supposed to be, which is another thing that me and my brother were talking about as far as the King James version. We'll get into that topic in a different time, but um that we would still be on chapter 5. So, why they changed the Bible, and the Bible says it, they're going to change it, and you got to pay attention. That's why I like this U version, because it gives you the little footnotes as far as, and even this one, uh, does it say it? Please don't push no buttons. Yep, verses 6 1 through 7 are numbered 5:20 through 26 in the Hebrew text. So, yeah. All right, back to reading it.
Leviticus chapter 6. Sins requiring a guilt offering. Then the Lord said to Moses, Suppose one of you sins against your associate and is unfaithful to the Lord. Suppose you cheat in a deal involving a security deposit, or you steal, or commit fraud, or you find lost property and lie about it, or you lie while swearing to tell the truth, or you commit any other such sin. If you have sinned in any of these ways, you are guilty. You must give back whatever you stole, or the money you took by extortion, or the security deposit, or the lost property you found, or anything obtained by swearing falsely. You must make restitution by paying the full price plus an additional 20% to the person you have harmed. On the same day, you must present a guilt offering. As a guilt offering to the Lord, you must bring to the priest your own ram with no defects, or you may buy one of equal value. Through this process, the priest will purify you before the Lord, making
Make an
you right,
atonement before the
and you will
Lord.
be forgiven for any of these sins you have committed. Further instructions for the burnt offering. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Give Aaron and his sons the following instructions regarding the burnt offering."
So if the other one was numbered, this is the beginning. This would be the beginning of chapter 6. So it says verses 6, 8 through 30 are numbered 6, 1 through 23 in the Hebrew text.
The burnt offering must be left on top of the altar until the next morning, and the fire on the altar must be kept burning all night. In the morning, after the priest on duty has put on his official linen clothing and linen undergarments, he must clean out the ashes of the burnt offering and put them beside the altar. Then he must take off these garments, change back into his regular clothes, and carry the ashes outside the camp to a place that is ceremonially clean. Meanwhile, the fire on the altar must be kept burning. It must never go out. Each morning, the priest will add fresh wood to the fire and arrange the burnt offering on it. He will then burn the fat of the peace offerings on it. Remember, the fire must be kept burning on the altar at all times. It must never go out. Further instructions for the grain offering. These are the instructions regarding the grain offering. Aaron's sons must present this offering to the Lord in front of the altar. The priest on duty will take from the grain offering a handful of the choice flour moistened olive oil, together with all the frankincense. He will burn this representative portion on the altar as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Aaron and his sons may eat the rest of the flour, but it must be baked without yeast and eaten in a sacred place within the courtyard of the tabernacle.
So the Hebrew tent
Remember,
of meeting.
it must never be prepared with yeast. I have given it to the priests as their share of the special gifts presented to me. Like the sin offering and the guilt
They just
offering,
like to lay
it
on
is
my bed.
most holy. Any of Aaron's male descendants may eat from the special gifts presented to the Lord. This is their permanent right from generation to generation. Anyone or anything that touches these offerings will become holy. Procedures for the ordination offering. Then the Lord said to Moses, "On the day Aaron and his sons are anointed, they must present to the Lord the standard grain offering of 2 quarts of choice flour,
1 and
half to
1/10
be
of an
offered in the
ephah.
morning and half to be offered in the evening. It must be carefully mixed with olive oil and cooked on a griddle. Then slice
The
this
Hebrew
grain
term
offering
is
and present it as a
uncertain.
pleasing aroma to the Lord. In each generation, the high priest who succeeds
The
Aaron must
anointed
prepare the
priest.
same offering.
It's so
It
fluffy.
belongs to the Lord and must be burned up completely. This is a permanent law. All such grain offerings of a priest must be burned up entirely. None of it may be eaten. Further instructions for the sin offering. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Give Aaron and his sons the following instructions regarding the sin offering. The animal given as an offering for sin is a most holy offering, and it must be slaughtered in the Lord's presence at the place where the burnt offerings are slaughtered. The priest who offers the sacrifice as a sin offering must eat his portion in a sacred place within the courtyard of the tabernacle. Anyone or anything that touches the sacrificial meat will become holy. If any of the sacrificial blood spatters on a person's clothing, the soiled garment must be washed in a sacred place. If a clay pot is used to boil the sacrificial meat, it must then be broken. If a bronze pot is used, it must be scoured and thoroughly rinsed with water. Any male from a priest's family may eat from this offering. It is most holy. But the offering for sin may not be eaten if its blood was brought to the tabernacle as an offering
Offering
for
of
purification
atonement.
in the holy place. It must be completely burned with fire.
He's trying to get another brush. I don't know. This is our fluffy Spitfire, who is reading the Bible with us. She doesn't like her hair brushed. But that's it, right? Further instructions for the sin offering. Again, blood and shed and oh my goodness, grossness, grossness. But um all right, gross. Good. Get the hair out of that one. So we've read a lot of offerings and what they needed to do for offerings and more offerings and how Jesus is still, how God is still talking to Moses through all the offerings and what needs to be offered. And thankfully, like I said, I'm very grateful and thankful that through all these offerings and sacrifices and all the animals before God, before Jesus came, that we don't have to do this anymore. Like literally, there's just one sacrifice, and that was the ultimate sacrifice of giving His life for us, for our sins. Can you imagine? And it says that too. What is the greatest achievement is to give one's life for your friend, right? To give one's life for your friend. And it's just really, really an honor, I think, that God did that for us because one, even though he knew what was coming, he knew it was going to be painful, he knew again the reward was greater. That even though he had to die for us, he got to live again. He got to fulfill the prophecy. He got to be with his father. He's at the right hand, and he gets to teach us that there is life after death, that he is 100% real, that people find him and he comes to them, right? He will keep reaching and he keep, in weird, strange ways sometimes. Um of how he reaches certain people. I know for me, like I said, it was weird to talk to a stranger about my situation, but I needed to get out of that situation. I needed to a better life for me and my child, and fear was definitely a factor into where I was and what was going on in my life. And I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and his voice just kept saying, "Go talk to this guy, go talk to this guy." And I kept fighting it, right? And then one thing led to another, and here I am. I'm listening to God's word, and I'm listening to who he's bringing into my life. And even though I am not perfect, right? You can be a Christian and you're still going to have problems. You're still going to fall short of God's glory sometimes. And I think, I read this too, that the whole purpose, even though we have the book of instructions, there's no way that we can, keep up with all the instructions. That's why God says, "Seek me first, and everything else will fall into place," right? So even though we cannot keep up with the rules of the Bible, we know who our teacher is. And even though our children don't always follow our rules, we still love them, right? We direct them, we give them consequences for their misbehaving and whatnot, but ooh, we still love them, right? No matter what. And even some parents like, to do the hard, um, my mother used to like it too and thought it was fun, but the way that she was doing it was not cool. Tough love. Sometimes that's what we need is tough love, but sometimes we need soft love, and God gives us what we need when we need it and how we need it. Like I said, um, where are you in your life? What is it that you need to achieve? What are your dreams? What does your heart tell you that you should accomplish in this life, right? What does your heart tell you that you want to do, right? Um, wherever your heart is, that's where your mind should be. That's where your goals should be. Not only to write down your goals, but write down what you need to do to achieve these goals. She didn't want to be held. Put her down, please.
Still like
She's fine. Um, sorry about that. But, what do you need to do to achieve these goals? Not just what they are, but what you need to achieve them. And are you willing to, one, put the work in, two, sacrifice what needs to be sacrificed, um, and three, fall and just keep getting up. Again, it's not how many times you fall, it's about how many times you get back up. And are you willing to fall? Are you willing to get back up? Or are you going to fall short right when it's your time to win? That's up to you. That's your life. Like I said, I did my best. I'm doing my best as far as giving you guys motivation and telling you my story and how I got back up. And again, I am nowhere near perfect. I literally am just here to share my story, to preach what I know because of my life experience. And I'm still learning and growing. And, you know, if you need to, that's what my favorite thing to do. And that's what like I said, that's why I love having my brother here. But we do church all the time. We're always doing church. Like you said, the JBC, the JBL party box. We have music playing all the time. And there's certain songs, not songs, but so much as the beats are genre that he doesn't like, but if it preaches God and it gets through and it's the word, there's a lot of things that he does that I don't like either, but we need to love each other where we're at and teach each other and just know, like I said, it's the community. It's where two or more are gathered. And I love that. I was having church at work because he's giving me a greater and deeper understanding of what he knows as far as the Bible, and it's giving me a different perspective of looking at things. And let me tell you how long I've been praying for something like this. It might not happen all the time, but I am so grateful for him and that God put us together, at the job, and um, how he is just, reminding me. Sorry, these are happy tears, but reminding me to remember who and whose I am, right? That I belong to God, that I am the daughter of the greatest king who ever walked this earth. Remember, the kings even got jealous and they wanted to kill because they knew the wise men were coming for the king. And the king says, I am the king. No, it's a greater king than you, right? It's a greater king than you. And he was just a baby. He literally was just a baby. He wasn't even born yet. And the kings were trying to kill him. So we are a daughter of the greatest king that ever lived. And we need to remember that. And we need to encourage each other to remember that. And yes, there's going to be tears. There's going to be pain and sorrow. But there's going to be so much joy and so much happiness and so much greatness. I've said it, that I've learned through the morning. Joy comes in the morning, Mourning, and Morning. When the sun rises, when the light comes, even in the darkness. Joy comes in the morning, whether it's through the sadness, the darkness of your heart, or the darkness of the world. God, there's a, what is it? The joy that surpasses all understanding, the peace that surpasses all understanding, even when the world is falling apart around you and you just feel loved and happy and full. That is God. And just continue to hold on to that and know who and whose you are and where you belong. So I hope you enjoyed your time with us. This was a very long video. It was over an hour long. So yay! Congratulations on keeping through with us, but it was an hour long because I just needed to recap as far as certain things and let you know about our motivational songs that I had on my Spotify and Anchor podcast playlist that, like I said, is now 51. That's what I've been working on for 2 days. Actually, I've been wanting to do a show with you guys, but I've been trying to, like I said, over 20 something pages, share the music and share um, the motivation with you guys because that's what got me through a lot of the hard times in my life. And I feel like that's what, we're here to do is encourage and love and cherish, each other. And I love you and God loves you. And I have to get dressed at some point today. So thank you so much for spending your morning with us. Noah has went and got dressed. His shirt says whatever with Bart. I didn't even know we had this shirt. Must be one that my oldest, he doesn't like to keep his clothes here, and his friends, they like to exchange clothes, and yeah, this must be one of them. I don't know why he likes little clothes. He's a big guy, he's taller than me, and he likes to wear small, tight clothes. I don't know. Anyways, I love you. God loves you. Thank you for spending time with us. Remember, there's lots and lots of playlists. I was playing my other one too. It only has 11 songs, but God's blessing and music to praise and worship Him. Um, and a couple other things. Change the world and peace songs about unity, love, and world peace. So the Change the World and Peace songs has 77 songs and things going with it. And then we have 21 of the songs of unity, love, and world peace. And then just our playlist and God's, a bunch of a bunch of music. So whatever isn't added, I don't know what that is. Whatever isn't added, um, I will do my best to add. And like I said, that's what I've been working on. And hopefully I'll get to do more shows with you and add more to the playlist. That one is 51, and I don't know how much longer it's going to be. But again, just fearless motivation or anything that you need to get you um in the right direction of where your heart is, what your heart tells you and where you need to be, what you need to do to get where your dreams are. And it's not going to be an easy road. If it was easy, again, it wouldn't be worth having. So I love you. God loves you for the third time. Mwah. We'll see you back here shortly, hopefully. I think I'm off Saturday. Um, I might be off Saturday and Sunday because she told me she was going to give me every other day off because I want to go to church. I want to be the church. I want to have a community where we just talk and preach and love on God. Like, that's what our priority is in the Bible, in the world, in life at this moment. So, I love you guys. God loves you. And we'll see you back here again and again and again. Have a great day. And I got to get to work. Mwah. Bye.